Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We got a lot to cover today. Holy smokes, do we have a lot to cover. I'm going to start with Coney Barrett, okay? And what that means and the significance of her and what she's doing and everything else involved in that. But then I'm going to move into some other things too, including something that came up in the live chat. All right, stand by. Six seconds. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. And I'm here to tell you we got a lot to cover today and your calls. It is Thursday already. Kind of cold in Florida. I went out to get coffee, and I go outside this morning. I'm wearing a T-shirt. I didn't realize how cold it was. I should have had a jacket on, but hey, it's Florida. Okay, I want to talk about Coney Barrett here in the beginning and what she did on the Supreme Court, siding with the liberal justices, which includes the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, who sold us out big time 15 years ago. I'm going to cover all this in the beginning of the show, and then we'll move into some other things. Now, this was over this foreign aid, okay? And the specifics of what the foreign aid is for and everything, it doesn't matter. I want to explain the foreign aid, then we'll get into Coney Barrett, who's a lot of problems with Coney Barrett, and I'm not the only one upset with her. I'm sure the president is, and a lot of MAGA conservatives around America are really angry at her. Charlie Kirk called her, did Charlie Kirk call her a DEI hire? Man, or was it another conservative? But he was taking issue with her, I'll tell you that. And if Charlie Kirk is, that means the Mar-a-Lago crowd are too. They're very upset with her. The Congress will tell you, and these lower-level federal judges that are activist judges, Obama judges, Biden judges, Clinton judges, I don't know if there's any Carter judges still on the bench. I would not be shocked if there are. There's people over 300 years old collecting Social Security, so we could have, who knows? There may be a Lyndon Johnson judge out there. But Congress keeps telling you, we control the purse strings. We're in charge of spending, and Doge and Elon Musk and Trump doing this is going around us. That's not the case, okay? When the Congress allocates money to something, whether it's a government agency, a department, or something, anyone, they don't get into the details of what the money is for. They give them however much money, sometimes billions of dollars, with the understanding that they're going to spend it on the things that they should be spending it on. And to take it out of politics for a second, to kind of illustrate this, do any of you work in an office where there's petty cash, or maybe these days they don't do the petty cash as much as they give you a credit card for the company? And what's that petty cash or the credit card for? Office supplies, maybe a FedEx or something, right? If you run out of ink pens or yellow pads, if people still use yellow pads, you can go out to Office Depot and get one or order it off Amazon or something. But what if you took that money from petty cash and at lunch started going to strip clubs for lunch? And the boss found out. Have you misused the petty cash? Or, no, I can use it on anything I want. You put me in charge of the petty cash. You gave me the company credit card. I thought I could use it on anything. That's not how it works. And that's what's been going on with the federal funding. You know, a lot of it is obviously a deep state and Democrat Party activist slush fund. USAID is probably a CIA organization. I found out when the USAID scandal was first exposed by Elon Musk and Doge, I saw a story, and I'd forgotten about this, but I remembered Obama's mother was with USAID. So she's probably deep state herself, right? So this idea that when President Trump or Elon Musk and Doge catch people taking the petty cash and it's going to things that it's not supposed to be going towards, you should be able to stop that. You can't say keep stealing. I don't have the authority to stop you from stealing. And these agencies are under the executive branch, which are directly under the authority of the chief executive, the president of the United States. So the whole idea that President Trump with Doge is going outside the realm of his authority as president is absurd. Now, Amy Coney Barrett, who sided with the Chief Justice John Roberts with the Democrats and upheld that lower-level liberal activist judge that the president cannot stop this foreign aid. Amy Coney Barrett is not one of us. She's one of them. She's a Republican establishment person. Never forget that. And how she got in, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, they knew she was going to die for a long time. And for the last few years before her death, the Democrats, in anticipation of the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, started promoting her to make her this historical figure. They started calling her RBG. I remember when President Clinton nominated her. They were, so she was really a insignificant justice. I mean, what are the major accomplishments, historical accomplishments on the bench that make Ruth Bader Ginsburg a historical Supreme Court justice? She wasn't the first woman, so she doesn't have that. And what did she do that was memorable? But they were propping her up as something she wasn't. Some big feminist icon and trailblazer. None of those things. She was never a trailblazer. So that when it came time to replace her, there was a lot of pressure in trying to replace her with somebody like her. And so President Trump picked a woman, Amy Coney Barrett. And I want to remind you all that Amy Coney Barrett almost killed the president. She's the one who gave him COVID, remember? She and her family, when they went to the White House, they had COVID and gave it to the president, and he almost died. I interviewed on my podcast one of his closest aides, and I was talking to him about this. I said, that day when President Trump left the White House on Marine One to Walter Reed, I was freaking out because I knew there was an emergency going on, and we could lose him. And he said he was much worse than he let on. He didn't want people to see how sick he was. He was like Reagan when he got shot. He had a very difficult time getting in Marine One. And if you remember when the president was in Walter Reed, the liberal media were on the air wishing and hoping for the worst, if you remember, and they were blaming him for getting COVID. Amy Coney Barrett gave him COVID. Did she know she had it when she went to the White House? I would think so. Out of her whole family, none of them knew they had COVID. Gave it to the president. Almost killed him. Yeah, that's right. Also, and I'm sure this is going to be all over the news today, Amy Coney Barrett also, a few years ago, when Biden opened up the southern border and the governor of Texas put up the barbed wire to try to protect his Texan citizens from these criminal hordes that are now being deported by Tom Homan, the case went to the Supreme Court. And Amy Coney Barrett, along with Justice Roberts and the Democrats on the Supreme Court, ordered the Texas governor to remove the barbed wire protection and to allow the invasion of Texas to continue. Okay? So, she's 3 strikes, you're out. This is third. And there may be some others that don't come to mind right now. But we got some problems. Now, I'm looking at the clock. I'm going to take this break on time. And when we get back, I'll explain what we can do and the greater problem here. Our number is toll-free if you'd like to call in about this. I've got a lot to cover today. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but your calls are certainly welcome. The number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. We'll be right back. The invasion of I'm just checking out the audio quality.
3 strikes, you're out. This is third. And there may
Sounds
be some
good.
others that don't come to mind right now. But we got some problems. Now, I'm looking at the clock. I'm going to take this break on time. And when we get back...
Okay. Just checking out the sound quality with my connection. So it sounds good. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that would be... Okay. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. Less than 90 seconds, actually. I'm going to get back to Coney Barrett and what's going on here. We'll be back in 1 minute. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. And if you're already sub, if you could please like the video. No, it's upsetting. I mean, it's upsetting. She's one of the snakes in the poem, yes. Somebody in the chat said Coney Barrett's one of the snakes that Trump's talking about. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm expecting Justice Thomas to retire so that Trump can pick somebody really, really good that's young. Remember, he was picked by, he was put on the court by H.W. Bush, Thomas, so he's getting up there. All right, 10 seconds. Stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. So Coney Barrett sold us out with John Roberts on this foreign aid funding, making Trump do it. And this, by the way, will be used. See, this is more than just this one instance, because what's going to happen is as these leftists judge shop to these Obama, Biden, Clinton judges in the federal court system, they're going to use this Supreme Court decision to order Trump to stop defunding other things that Doge is catching. That's just what they're going to do, and that's what makes it so bad. So, Coney Barrett, who gave Trump COVID, almost killed him, sided against Greg Abbott on his border protection when Biden opened the border, and now this, and she sided with John Roberts. She's a Republican establishment person. They're already calling her Amy McConnell Barrett. I see that all over social media. People are pretty ticked about it. There's all kinds of news stories. This is a Newsweek. Coney Barrett sparks MAGA fury over Trump's Supreme Court decision. Does Newsweek still print, or are they only online? Supporters of President Trump turned their sights on Supreme Court Justice Coney Barrett. This is Newsweek. And to a lesser extent, Chief Justice John Roberts, who was appointed by G.W. Bush, Roberts, remember, after they sided with the court's liberals in a ruling against the Trump administration. The court currently has a 6-3 conservative supermajority, but if Barrett and Roberts have at times broken ranks and voted with the court's liberal wing in rulings that have infuriated the MAGA base. No doubt about it. The Supreme Court handed the president a significant setback. This is Newsweek I'm reading from. when it ruled Wednesday that the Trump administration must abide by a lower court order to unfreeze $2 billion in foreign aid. The aid was blocked after Trump signed an executive order, in his first day in office, ordering the funding freeze while the administration scoured U.S. spending for what Trump and his allies characterize as waste, fraud, and abuse. And I think everybody can agree that's true. A lower court judge ordered the administration to unblock the aid in response to a lawsuit filed by a nonprofit in connection with the freezing of foreign assistance through USAID and the State Department. The 5-4 ruling yesterday, Barrett and Roberts joined Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson and left in place the ruling by U.S. District Judge Amir Ali. Barrett drew immediate backlash from prominent Trump supporters. That's right. Charlie Kirk said, looking that way, Charlie Kirk, the founder and CEO of Turning Point, and one of Trump's most high-profile backers, wrote, she's a big problem. Mike Cernovich went after her. It goes on, a whole bunch of people. And I'm talking about her. John Roberts betrayed us with Obamacare, and that was a big blow-up. It was when that came down, I cannot believe it's been 15 years now, because it was in 2010. When Obamacare was being debated, it was a year-long debate in this country. It was a year-long of stuff. I didn't talk about it much at the time. Steve and I didn't talk about it much at the time. And one of the reasons is what Obamacare did was make it a federal law that you have to buy a product. And I was very confident, as were most conservatives, that the Supreme Court would rule that the U.S. government does not have the authority to get you to buy something. And I remember I was in my car in front of the Barnes & Noble in Coral Springs. I was going in to buy a book about, so I can't remember, but the ruling was about to come down. So I stayed in my car and I was listening to Blitzer on CNN. And Blitzer reported that the Supreme Court has struck down Obamacare. Remember that? And then a few minutes later, he retracted that and said the Supreme Court upholds Obamacare. That was Wolf Blitzer. And what had happened is the Supreme Court, we had a conservative majority. It wasn't as big as now, but we had a conservative majority on the court. And the court had announced that Obamacare was unconstitutional. And what had happened, John Roberts, at the last minute, that like the day of the release of the ruling, changed his opinion. And reports came out that Justice Scalia, who has since passed away under very mysterious circumstances, remember those? Oh, my goodness. Actually got into a knockout, drag-out fight with John Roberts because John Roberts changed his opinion at the last minute. And he changed his opinion at the last minute, so much so that all the clerks and everything that were leaking the ruling to CNN said the Supreme Court's going to strike it down. And we knew then in 2010 that Chief Justice John Roberts was compromised. He got one of those manila envelopes delivered to him, probably from the Hoover, the J. Edgar Hoover files, like Tom Cruise got on in The Firm. And he changed his opinion. And we've known since 2010 that Roberts was compromised. Now, he does rule with the conservatives most of the time, but when they really need him, they call in that manila envelope again, whatever's in it. Amy Coney Barrett, I don't know if she's just a rhino or if they got something on her. I don't know. But they certainly do on John Roberts. And this foreign aid ruling, you've seen the meltdowns over Doge and USAID and everything they're exposing. And this is a part of that. So they brought out the big guys and the big blackmail or big enticements on these judges to get this ruling yesterday. And the reason that MAGA people are upset about it is not because they ruled against the president. It's because we do not believe that this is a legitimate ruling. We believe that they have been compromised on the Supreme Court. And nothing would get me to change my mind on that. And I think it's really obvious So your thoughts are certainly welcome on that. Our number is 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening to us. If you're on hold, hang in there. I got a text message from John, who's a listener in Palm Coast. And he sent me this. I'm not sure how John has my cell phone number, but a lot of people have my cell phone number. And he texted me this. He says, "This is John in Palm Coast. Last week, I received the MyPillow towels. I've used them and washed them a few times, and I'm not sure if it's my imagination or not, but they seem to get better and more absorbent with each wash. They are everything you said they were. Thanks for the tip." And I texted him back. I said, yeah, I had the same experience. I don't know why that is, but the more I wash them and use them, the more absorbent they become, the MyPillow towel sets. The MyPillow towels, out of everything that Mike Lindell has, other than the pillow, because you got to have the pillow, if I could only have 2 MyPillow products or a product other than the pillow, because the pillow's a must-have. The MyPillow, you got to have the MustPillow. But if I could only have one other MyPillow product other than the pillow, it would be the MyPillow towel set. We have the MyPillow towels, and Mike Lindell says towels that actually work. What a concept. And I heard him say that, and I didn't realize what he meant until I experienced the towels. They work like a towel you've never had. And you really notice this because what we did is we phased out our other towels. We got a couple sets of the MyPillow towels and slowly phased out our other towels. And once or twice, I've gotten out of the shower and grabbed one of the old towels. The old towels, they don't absorb anything. They just spread the water around on your body, right? It's amazing. So yeah, the MyPillow towels come in many different colors. They're on sale right now for just $29.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. The normal price is $69.98. So they're $40 off and free shipping because it's free shipping site-wide on all orders right now with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. So John, I'm glad you got the towels and shared your experience. $29.98 and free shipping on the MyPillow towels. And they come in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different colors with our promo code Kane at checkout at mypillow.com, Kane. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, callers on hold, stand by. It's a Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig, back right after this. If you're on hold, hang in there. Phone's very busy. I'm going to go to the phones right after the break. Okay, we will be back in just a couple of minutes. All right, we'll be back in less than a minute. I'm going to go right to the phones when we get back. And again, great deal on the towels. You heard John. More absorbent, the more he uses and washes them. That's true. And you can see all the colors there. Just $29.98 with our promo code Kane. And remember, every time you buy these great MyPillow products, you're supporting this program and all the content I bring you when you use our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. And I do appreciate your support for MyPillow. It's greatly appreciated. All right, we will be back in 15 seconds. Stand by. Welcome back, everyone. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We're talking about the Supreme Court betrayal. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Richie. Hey, listen, I listened to your thing with Coney Barrett. I'm going to tick some women off here today, okay? The Constitution of the United States, first of all, we're wired differently than men. I mean, the Constitution of the United States, all men wrote it, all men interpreted it. My contention is, this is going to sound crazy, because women think with emotion, and I know John Robert, a male that looks like he's conservative could all of a sudden become a liberal or whatever. I think John Roberts likes the cocktail parties in Washington, so I think that's why he wants to get along with everybody. He doesn't want the people in Washington to think the Supreme Court is going one way or the other. So 50-50, he's on the fence all the time. So you can't. Now, Coney Barrett is a woman. That was, to me, President Trump's biggest mistake. I wouldn't put a woman on the Supreme Court if my life depended on it, because they think with emotion. They'll look for any little loophole because they're feelings. You cannot have feelings. You have to be.
Yeah, and you know, and you look at Sandra Day O'Connor, who was appointed by President Reagan, and then she gets on the court, and all of a sudden she's pro-abortion. You know, for like 30, you know, all those years. Yeah.
These women should not. Women should never be allowed on the Supreme Court. Look what you got now. You got the three leftists that always stick together, and they're all women. And now they got the conservative woman thinking the way they think.
That's right.
It's like they must go to have coffee together. I mean, it's ridiculous.
No, it's, and you
It's really
look, what happens a lot of times with conservative justices, they go rogue sometimes, but it's mostly the women. And what happens is what happens with a lot of of women is they pretend to be conservative when they're not, because there was a time. Amy Coney Barrett and I are the same age. I'm a year older than her. When Amy Coney Barrett was coming up, it was not as common for women to be in certain places in the world of professionalism. So a lot of women claim to be conservative just to elevate themselves. Then they get on these courts, and then all of a sudden you find out they're liberal. And Sandra Day O'Connor should be a lesson. Do not appoint. I hope President Trump does not appoint a woman to replace Clarence Thomas when he steps down. I agree. I agree 100%.
A woman wants to look strong. Conservative people are strong. Conservative women are strong.
I'll give you an idea. I'll give you an example. By the way, Richie, you're right. I agree with you. I'm going to give you guys an example outside. Sometimes I use examples outside of politics, but this is kind of politics too. But George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney. And he had a woman that worked underneath him, and he recommended Disney make her the head of the Lucasfilm when they acquired it, and they did. She wrecked the entire company. And she's destroyed the entire Star Wars Lucasfilm franchises, okay, including Indiana Jones and all this stuff. Because women, even conservative women in these positions of power, they just really aren't conservative like men are. That's it. That's it. And we've been betrayed by top women time and time again. Now, it doesn't. Now, you may say, well, what about Marjorie Taylor Greene and these people? Well, they're held accountable by the electorate every 2 years. So women in those positions, you don't have to worry about as much. But when a woman gets a lifetime appointment to a federal bench, that's when you really see it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air.
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
With these judges, particularly, well, first off, Roberts is a Bush, okay? And Bushes always look to mess around with Trump because Bushes hate Trump, right? Mm-hmm. So throw him out. Amy Coney Barrett is kind of like the little critter that, the groundhog. She comes out and sees her shadow and just gets there scared and goes back in the hole. That's what she is.
Yeah.
So you got a guy in Roberts who doesn't like Trump because he's a Bush, and he's looking to mess around Trump at any given point. I mean, think about it. There are a number of cases in 2020 that he should have taken on their merits, and he didn't take them.
Amy Coney Barrett, she gave Trump COVID and almost killed him.
Yep.
And did she know she had it that day, or her kids and family? Probably. She sided against Governor Abbott in Texas when he put up barbed wire to protect Texans from being victimized by the illegals that Biden was allowing to walk through the state. And now this? That's 3 strikes.
Yeah, it is 3 strikes, and that's the thing. And look, Mike Davis, who's a lot of times on with Bannon, he seems to think that this stuff is going to make it back to the Supreme Court and going to be ruled on the other way. But I disagree with that. I think it might very well be back in the Supreme Court at some point, but it's going to come out the same way.
Yeah.
And basically, what these judges like Ali are doing are trying to blackmail Trump.
That's right. That's right.
What
That's exactly. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. Mike from Louisiana. Good points. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Stan from Bonita Springs.
All right, Bonita Springs. What's on your mind?
And Brian, if you recall from the history, the Supreme Court ruled against President Jackson and told him he couldn't move the Indians from the South out west. And President Jackson turned around to the Supreme Court and said, okay, you made your ruling, now enforce it. And also, if you recall, the Supreme Court kept ruling against President Roosevelt. So he threatened to
well, no, he lost. The New Deal, people don't know this because liberals write the history books. the racist New Deal of FDR that excluded blacks, it was overruled by the Supreme Court, and most of it never went into effect because of that. That's why he tried to pack the court and failed. So, yeah. But, you're right. The Supreme Court does not have an enforcement power. That's true.
One more thing. I believe didn't Biden run, the Supreme Court told him he couldn't, the country couldn't pay off the college loans, and I believe Biden was going to take.
He was going to go ahead with it anyway.
Action.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So the point that I'm trying to make is there's a history where the presidents have maneuvered around.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what President Trump does. I mean, we've got Republicans controlling both houses now, so he may continue with what he's doing. My guess is he'll go along with the court. He doesn't want to fall into their hands and be an outlaw like they accuse him of being so much. So I think he'll abide by this decision and just start going. But the problem with the decision isn't this foreign aid, although it's a lot of money. It's that this decision is going to be used as case law as they take everything that Doge exposes to federal judges. And they're going to say, well, the Supreme Court ruled this. And it's going to be used to stop Trump very possibly and a whole bunch of other things that are important.
Right. It'll set a precedence. Absolutely.
Like President Trump saying you can't spend money on drag shows in Brazil. Oh, no. Supreme Court ruled on this foreign funding case, and they'll use that to strike it down. So it's more than just this one instance. It's how the case law is going to be used.
Right. Thanks for taking my call, Brian.
Well, thanks for the call from Bonita Springs. All right. Before we get back to the issues, I'm going to throw something out to you on a personal note, and perhaps you and the audience can give me some help. I'm doing this for advice, okay? Serious advice about this. I have talked about this many times over the years of my incredible addiction to coffee. And what I drink now are the espresso shots. I have every day by 9 a.m., I've had 8 shots of espresso. I get 2 venti hot blonde Americanos from Starbucks every day. And I get one to drink while I'm on the air between 6 and 9, and it's gone usually by 9. It takes me the 3 hours to get through it. But the other one I have for the morning when I wake up, because when I get up in the morning, they're not open. They don't open till like 5:30 in the morning. So I heat one up in the microwave. So by the time I get off the air each day, I've had 8 shots of espresso. Now, before this, I've always had a coffee addiction. And I've tried to give up my coffee, but I don't usually pay attention to what I paid attention to today. But I'm making a YouTube video on my coffee addiction, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll find out when you watch the video. This is not a plug for my YouTube channel. It's just I am asking for your help. I added up how much money I'm spending a month on coffee, and the money is not insignificant, and I want to give it up a lot. Before I got on the Starbucks, I was addicted to regular coffee, just regular coffee, like Folgers coffee, and every morning I was drinking 8 to 10 cups of that, 8 to 10 cups. And those of you that are longtime listeners, years ago, live on the air during the show, I collapsed on the air and had a bit of a seizure. Steve and I were both, this is when we were in our Coral Springs studio, and Steve and I were in different rooms, like Mike, the board op, and I are. I'm in a studio, he's in a control room. Steve and I was in the control room, and Steve was in the studio, and I collapsed, had a seizure. Steve had to call 911. And it happened so quick that neither Steve or I turned our mics off, and our board op at the radio station was not listening because, he was a dysfunctional person, and kept us on, and it was all over the air. And I got taken to the hospital by ambulance. And what had happened is I had so much coffee. I had 10 cups that morning that I was so dehydrated. This was all on the air. I do not have a tape of it. If anybody has a tape of that, Send it to me. I'd like to have it. The reason that I was taken to the hospital, I had so much coffee that morning that I was severely dehydrated. I had 10 cups, and it was like around 8 in the morning. I already had 10 cups of coffee. Isn't that something? And it was crazy, and it was I'm not sure what kind of, if it was technically a seizure, but it was brought on by dehydration. And then I vowed I'm going to give up coffee, which I tried and couldn't do. And then it happened again about 6 months later. I didn't have to go to the hospital because I felt it coming and stopped drinking the coffee. So to give up the 10 cups, I discovered Starbucks and ended up where I am today. I've tried to give up the coffee. The reason I need it, because I'm doing the 3-hour show in the morning, and a lot of people say, just get off the coffee. I've tried. Sometimes on the weekends, I've tried, even on our cruises, and of course, I get very tired, very lightheaded, almost incoherent, and you get those massive withdrawal headaches. And I have to be on the air for 3 hours every morning live, and I can't be going through withdrawals on the air. So the reason I bring all this up, I'm enlisting you all for your advice. After the break, I'm going to get back to the issues. But I'd like you all to call in with some realistic advice on how I can get off of this coffee addiction. I need to get off of it. From health reasons. I'm going to talk later about my weight loss, but I'm at my lowest weight like in 15 years right now. I weighed myself this morning. I was in shock. The scale, I weighed myself 4 or 5 times because when I saw how light I am, I was like, this is what? And I did it again. I moved the scale around the room and everything else. I am at my lowest weight in 15, maybe longer years. And now I want to get off this. So if you all out there have some advice on how I can get off this coffee addiction without going through the massive withdrawals and be able to broadcast this show every day, let me know. And when I added up how much I'm spending on coffee, and believe me, I don't like buying the coffee. I don't like drinking so much coffee. And the regular coffee like Folgers, my addiction is so high, there's not enough caffeine in that. That's like drinking, me drinking Folgers and all that would be like drinking decaf because I have 8 shots of espresso every morning by 9 a.m. So if anyone out there has some real, because there's got to be people in this audience that have suffered from addictions. And I know out of addictions, this is one of the better ones to have. There's a lot of things you could be addicted to. Drugs, hookers, stuff like this. A lot of people addicted to gambling. And out of all the vices, this is probably one of the most mild. And I guess, it's what a squeaky clean guy I am that this is my vice. But it's one I want to get off of, especially after I added up the cost each month. So, if you could give your advice on how I can get off of my addiction and be able to coherently broadcast this show every morning, give me a call. Our number 1-888-465-2631. It's really a call for help because I've tried to do this before with zero success. 1-888-465-2631. Last time I tried to do this was on the last cruise. I lasted 1 day and I was at the coffee bar having just as much espresso as I have here because they've got the coffee bar there. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. No, I'm serious, guys. Do you have any advice for me? Give me a call on the air because I gotta get off this caffeine. Believe me, it's not something I'm doing because I don't even like coffee. I don't even like it.
31. Last time I tried to do this was on the last cruise. I lasted 1 day and I was at the coffee bar having just as much espresso as I have here because they've got the coffee bar there. 1-888-465-2631.
Hear how long the delay is?
My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Yeah. On my other YouTube channel, I'm doing a video on my coffee addiction, and I just finished it today, and it ends with how much money I'm spending every month. So, okay, so that would be... Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. But it's a problem. It's not good for my heart, drinking all this. And it's not good for my wallet either. But now that I've slimmed down so much, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in just over 1 minute, and I'll go right to the calls. Obviously, there's got to be some weaning off process, but I'm not sure really how to do it because I've tried it several times with no success. Less than a minute, we'll be back. Eight shots of espresso every morning is a lot. A lot. I mean, right now, so far, I've had about 5 or 6. So I've got 2 or 3 shots left in that cup. That's a lot. I mean, I may drink more. I may have more caffeine in me than most anyone. So if you got any ideas, let me know. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. We'll go right to the calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. All right.
I'm Robin. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina. Good morning.
Hey, Robin.
I think I have your... Hi. I think I have your cure. It literally changed my life. Mushroom coffee.
Mushroom coffee.
Not only did it make mushroom coffee, and the one specific, because I've tried them all, it's called Rise, R-Y-Z-E. Not only will you get energy, clarity, it changed my mood, it's helped my digestion. I can't even tell you because I drank coffee all day long, and I literally feel like a different person. It's very healthy.
But how am I going to wean off? You know, right now as I'm speaking to you, I've had 5 or 6 shots of espresso since I woke up. I got 2 or 3 shots left in my cup here before the end of the broadcast. How do I wean off of this?
I'll tell you exactly. Okay, you're going to wean off of that like you do with a drug.
Oh, no.
You're going to just drink the mushroom coffee at least twice a day. I mean, I'm no genius. I don't know, but this worked for me. And you're going to wean off of it. You're going to drink the mushroom coffee, and you're going to have your shots. And then you're going to wait 2 days, and then you're going to have less shots. It may not be absolutely painless, but it won't be that bad. And I'm telling you,
mushroom coffee. Where do I guess I Google it to find where I can get mushroom
coffee. You order
coffee.
it online. It's R-Y-Z-E.
Okay, I'll look it up.
I tried maybe 4 different kinds. I don't know, but for me, it was a miracle. And everyone I've turned it on to, it's helped. It's also amazing for digestion because everything that makes you feel good or bad comes out of your gut. And when your gut is working perfectly, you don't get headaches.
All right.
You get that energy, and you get a great mood.
I will look it up. All right. Well, thank you for the advice. Okay, mushroom coffee. I want to do this in a way where I'm not having the withdrawals. All right. Let's take some more calls. That was some good advice. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi. I would suggest that you get a percolator, an old-fashioned percolator. Buy coffee, fresh ground coffee, and dilute it with milk and put more water in it. And caffeine actually is good for the brain. I don't know, why you would think it's not good, but you don't want to overdo it. but it actually helps you think, which is
Well, I know that's
why
that's why I'm doing it. You know, but 8 shots of espresso is not good for my heart. You know what my blood pressure is when I get off the air? It's so high every day. It's because of all the espresso. The 8 shots of espresso, it goes down a little while later, but when I get off the air, my blood pressure is like very high, scary high.
Yeah, because you're having way too much. But some caffeine in the morning is good for you. So just try to cut down on it. And why would you spend all that money on Starbucks and putting it in the microwave?
Because the espresso, I've tried. I got it to make the espresso at home costs more. It's cheaper to go to Starbucks to get the espresso than make it at home. Believe it or not, it's not. Espresso has so much more caffeine in it, and I get the blonde roast of coffee. The lighter the roast, the higher the caffeine content. So the caffeine that I get out of the Starbucks coffee is higher than I could get at home by far, and that's listen, I'm hooked on it like Hunter's hooked on crack. And I understand that, and I know, but I do want to get it. I want to get off of it, not just because of the money it's costing, but because it's not good for my heart. I've been told by doctors to give it up, and I've not because I haven't been able to.
Because you should also make sure you drink water, because water hydrates your brain as well.
Okay.
You have to have enough water too.
All right. Well, I appreciate the advice. A percolator. I wouldn't even know how to use that. Now, I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. You know, he has rid me of pain 7 times, 3 times in my shoulders, all from injuries. Yeah, and I did retire my longboard skateboard, okay? I did retire that. I have 2 of them. They're in the garage. I will never ride them again. The last fall was so bad, and just as you get, at what age should you stop skateboarding anyway? I saw a guy going down the street on his skateboard a few months ago. He's younger than me, and he looked like an idiot. Okay, so I don't think a guy my age should even be on a skateboard. But I learned when you fall, you just don't recover like you used to, and it hurts. And Dr. Appleton rids me of pain, but I want to stop getting hurt. His laser away pain treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Injuries like I've had, arthritis like I've had, bronchial neuralgia, bursitis, hip pain, knee pain. He rid me of my years of suffering from knee pain, lumbar pain, post-surgical swelling, muscular contraction, sciatica, plantar fasciitis, which is incredibly painful, strains and sprains, tinnitus, tennis elbow, neck pain, stenosis. Did I mention back pain? Any type of pain you can think of. It works. It's completely painless. You don't even feel the laser. Dr. Appleton performs all the treatments himself. There's no drugs, no shots, no injections, no downtime, and no appointment necessary. Walk-ins are welcome even on Saturday. Give Dr. Appleton a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Remember, it's a free consultation, and if you have x-rays and scans, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will gladly look them over. 954-973-0710. All right, back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Pam from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'd like to say a few things about Amy Coney Barrett.
Yes, please.
She proclaims herself as a very devout Catholic. So you would think she would put God's instructions ahead of man's instruction in terms of how she makes decisions.
Yeah.
And I don't think she went by God's word when she made this decision.
Well, there's a lot of liberal Catholics. I mean, look at that racist Asian mayor from Boston, right? The one that had the no whites allowed Christmas party. She was giving her condolences to the stabber, right? The guy that was stabbing people. She was testifying yesterday in Congress, and she had the ashes on her head for Ash Wednesday, so she's Catholic. There's a lot of left-wing Catholics. Biden, Pelosi, John Kerry.
Yeah, but I think that they are hypocrites.
Indeed.
And I have a Bible verse. I'd like to
yeah, sure. I'm short on time for the top of the hour break, but you can read the Bible verse.
Yeah, No, it's quick. It says it is wrong to punish the godly for being good or to flog leaders for being honest.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, I'm pro-life, and I'm opposed to the death penalty, and that's because I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, and I don't have sympathy for for BTK and all these people, but I don't believe in taking life unless it's in self-defense, of course. All right, thank you for the call. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll take our top of the hour break, come back with your calls. I'll get into some more of the issues, but your help with my caffeine addiction is welcome. We'll be right back. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We'll be back in just over. I looked up. When we get back from the break, I'm going to share how much caffeine I'm drinking because I looked it up from Starbucks. How much I'm drinking. I can't believe it. All right, 25 seconds, we'll be back. I'm getting text messages from people, so I'm reading my text messages. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Hour number 2 has begun. I covered a lot in the first hour, so I'm just going to go straight to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Emily from Tampa.
Hey, Emily.
How you doing?
All
right. Well, I wanted to let you know, I know a little bit about this because I've had to kind of look into it myself, but what's happening with you is the caffeine is pretty much, because you said you drink high caffeine, so it's acting as basically it's raising your dopamine levels in your brain. Your body is a delicate balance of dopamine and serotonin, essentially.
Yeah.
So what happens is when you prolong use something like an amphetamine or caffeine or nicotine, it bumps up your dopamine, which fills that reward center in your brain. So what happens in that instance, after a long period of time, your body gets used to having that much dopamine that it actually lowers your serotonin. It throws off your balance. So what you can either do is, if you want to wean yourself off of it, I know it sounds crazy, but if you do something like a nicotine patch and start out with the highest level and taper down, that will it'll trick your brain into thinking.
Wait a minute. I'm not a smoker. I've never smoked.
I know that. But it works on the same in your brain. It works on the same receptors.
Okay.
So whether it's caffeine, amphetamine, or nicotine, anything with "ene" on the end, pretty much is going to do the exact same thing in your brain.
Oh, okay.
So if you want, because I know that if I suggest another drink to you, it's probably not going to taste as good, and you'll just go back to it. It's hard. It's like staying on a diet. You know what I mean? You probably need to address it like from an easier system. So if you do, something like that in the meantime while you're weaning, like I say nicotine patches because.
Well, I'll tell you, the couple times I've tried to do this, I get those massive migraine headaches too. And I just looked up on the Starbucks website how much caffeine is in it. I am each one of these cups has 445 milligrams of caffeine. So I'm drinking by 9 a.m. each day 890 milligrams of caffeine. That's a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, somebody with, I don't know if you've ever been diagnosed with anything like ADHD or anything like that.
No, I just have a crazy schedule, and I got, doing a show every morning, this is a high-energy show. It takes a lot of energy to do it, and I can't be on the air sounding like Joyce Common. Oh, okay, well, you know what I mean? So I can't go, I got to try to find a way to do it and be able to do the show without these massive withdrawals.
That's what I'm saying. You have to tackle it from a standpoint of at the same time weaning yourself down your brain. Like you have to wean yourself down off of that dopamine that you're getting from the caffeine. And then at the same time, you should look into something that works on your GABA receptors of your brain, because if you up that level of, basically it's the opposite of what dopamine does. It'll up your level of serotonin in your brain. It'll balance you out, and then it'll help you withdraw off of the dopamine high that you get from the caffeine. Okay,
well, I will look into that. I don't know if my doctor would approve of that technique, but we'll talk. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. Getting some interesting stuff. Mushroom coffee was one. The other one was the nicotine patch. So. All right, let me see here. Hold on. The phones are ringing off the hook. I don't know. Do we have a lot of recovered addicts in this audience? This is becoming the Clean and Sober Hour. Do you remember the Clean and Sober Hour? Is that still on the radio here in the market? I used to listen to that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Julie from MAGA Country in Loxahatchee, Florida.
All right, Loxahatchee. What's up?
Okay, my suggestion is you try, they have something called the half calf.
What's it called?
Which is half calf.
Half calf.
Half calf.
Okay, half calf. Okay.
Half caffeine, half decaf. Start with that. Don't go to Starbucks. Starbucks is left. I wouldn't give them a penny.
Well, everything's left. That's corporate pretty much. I mean, it's, you think I like giving them this money?
Yes.
You think I like giving them this money? You think I enjoy it?
Well, you do, though.
I'm an addict. Do you think junkies like giving their dealer money for the crystal meth and the fentanyl? No. But they're addicted. They're addicted. when you're an addict.
Okay, so try.
You know.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
try the half calf.
All right.
Start with that. Yes, they sell it in the stores.
Okay, I'll
Half
check
calf.
it out. I'll check it out. The half calf. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Well, I shouldn't say funny. This is serious business. But, I started listening to the show around 2007. So I guess it's about 18 years. I was doing it overnight. I don't know if you remember, but I would get off. Our shifts were like from 6 to 6. So 6 a.m., I'd usually be one of the first callers in the first, hour since we were just getting off. And I used to wonder, how you did it because I was like, man, this guy's Superman. And you weren't doing probably half the stuff that you're doing, the last 10 years.
Yes.
So to speak. I mean, you were raising family, but now, your podcast and getting involved in the radio station and spots and everything else. And I was like, wow, this guy's Superman, with your schedule, getting up. And,
yeah.
I even remember some of your stories about getting the coffee and the one time running into, some shady characters. But even now, as I'm sitting on my porch enjoying the sunrise, I'm drinking water before I have the coffee. But I got into trouble with that too. And especially during the hotter months, I'd start off with my hot cup, and then I'd go to the cold coffee. And, the espresso and those coffee monsters and things like that, I'm to this day, I'm actually still taking a low dose of blood pressure medication. So yeah, it becomes a serious habit. And,
I'm not on any blood. When I get off the air, if you were to take my blood pressure, like a Game Day Men's Health, they're right across the hall from the radio station.
Right.
So when I go to see them, they'll take my blood pressure and I'll tell them, you can't. It's going to be through the roof. You're going to want to call 911. When I get off the air, it's through the roof. Between the 890 milligrams of caffeine and these liberal callers, it's going to be through the roof, and it always is. But it goes back to normal like an hour after I get off the air.
And that's a good thing. You can calm yourself and relax. But, I think I get a low dose, like 10 milligrams. But and I'm up and down and on and off, but they still keep me on it. But, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to wean it like anything else. If you're doing 10 shots of the espresso, you have to go down to 9 and then go down to 8.
Goodness.
And, I mean, there's obviously a need. And the human body,
Well, what happened? See, what happened today? People have been telling me for a long time, health-wise, and I did have to go to the emergency room by an ambulance. The only time that I've traveled in an ambulance myself is from the coffee, and nothing's been able to stop me. And I'm making this YouTube video about my coffee addiction, and I added up how much I'm spending a month on coffee. I'm not going to tell you guys on the air. I'm embarrassed. It's a lot. It's a car payment. It's a car payment.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
And it's a lot of money. And and the money is a bigger motivator than my health. But I got to worry about quality of the program here. And if I'm going through caffeine withdrawals and I've got migraines and I'm cloudy in my mind and I can't think straight, what's that going to be like for a month of the show? You understand what I mean? How long will it take me to get through that?
100%. Like I said, you have a lot on your plate, and I mean, hey, crazy world out there. Speaking of that, real quick, I know you remember the comment Sotomayor when she got caught on the hot mic with an honest moment of legislating from the bench and being the wise Latina. But women, there's a reason why jury selection and everything else, regardless of who you are in life, profession, their character and their emotions. So this doesn't surprise me.
Men are very practical. They're very practical, and women are very emotional. I mean, that's just it. And I know some people will say, oh, well, men get angry and all that. Men are, for the most part, think very logically when they go to make decisions. Women can be motivated by things, And Amy Coney Barrett, I haven't trusted her since she gave Trump COVID. When he announced her.
It's a hard thing, but, I'm curious of how far this effect will go down. Like you said, there's going to be precedents from this, and I hope not. But, we already have this issue with the courts, and I think it's worse than the weaponization. But all this legislating from the bench,
listen, I don't want to sound like some major sexist here, because I'm not. However, when women got to vote in 1920, it changed what the issues are. That's why there's so much talk about women's rights when it comes to abortion and these kind of things. There's all these, politics is so emotional. And one of the reasons it's emotional, look at the Democrat Party. It's mostly women, and they're emotional, and they're dragging us through this. I mean, I give you an example. We've had 2 women that the Democrats have nominated for president. Both of them cracked under pressure when they lost. They couldn't come out and concede like everyone else has done. Hillary Clinton and Kamala. They both sent a man out to do it. They couldn't do it. And women just are not as emotionally strong, as they want you to think they are, to handle these big decisions. I think sometimes I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Again, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I love her, but since she's held accountable to the voters every 2 years and she's not the chief executive, it's a different situation.
Right. But no, good point. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. All right, I appreciate the call. We got to run. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our break. I'll wrap up this caffeine addiction thing and get back to the news and the issues soon, because if I don't, Steve's going to kill me. But we'll take our first break of the second hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this.
Hillary Clinton and Kamala, they both...
Okay, hold on. Let me cue some things up here. Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay, so... Okay, we'll be back in 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes, we'll be back.
Treated thousands and thousands of patients from...
I appreciate all the advice. I don't know how good that advice I've gotten is. The nicotine patch, someone says I should go to use. I don't know about that. You know, Tucker Carlson has his own brand of nicotine gum, which I never heard of until Tucker started talking about it. But that seems to me I'm just replacing one addiction with another. I don't know. Nicotine patch, I don't know if that's a good idea. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe, all right? Yeah, you guys all tell me to give it up now, but a few days of me suffering with migraines and being out of it on the air, you might change your mind real quick on me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want term limits on the Supreme Court. You don't want to go changing the Constitution. Not enough caffeine jewels in the Keurig. I used to. I have a Keurig in my garage. I put it in the garage. I stopped using it. It's just not enough. Hypnotized. Oh, yes. All right, 30 seconds. We'll be back. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll finish up with the caffeine withdrawal calls, and then I'll get into some other things. 5 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll take a couple more calls on my addiction, then I'll get back to the news, okay? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, man, I maybe I'm wrong, but I always thought that the Supreme Court is there to make sure that the Constitution is followed and make sure all the laws of the land are followed for the citizen. I don't see how the hell they're able to stop the government from giving money to a foreign country. What does that have to do with the Supreme Court? I think they're overstepping their authority, in my opinion. But
well, what happened is we got activists. We got activists on the court, and we got two conservatives, one of which we know is compromised, Justice Roberts. And we don't know what's going on with Amy Coney Barrett. Is she compromised, or is she going through menopause?
Well, I don't know what it is, but certainly it's one thing to be to go against President Trump if he does something that's really unconstitutional or something. But to go against what the American people want,
he's caught bank robbers stealing from the U.S. Treasury. I appreciate the call, Doug. What's he supposed to do? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Lisa in Boca.
Hey, Lisa.
Good morning. Mike from Louisiana had mentioned that Roberts is a Bushy. I believe Amy is also. Her father was a prominent Shell oil attorney, and under George H.W. Bush became ambassador to Malawi from 1992 to 1995.
Oh.
He became a district court judge under George W. Bush, and he is somebody, I believe, who has butted heads, and apple doesn't fall far from a tree. Ken Paxton has been up against the Bushes for a long time in Texas. Big Oil and Pappy Bush and the family have been embedded, I think, in a lot of the decisions that are being made in Texas.
Well, you know, in the first term, President Trump has said that he had a lot of bad people around him. You know, he didn't know anybody in Washington. It happened so fast, so she could have squeaked through. And obviously, you know, a lot of MAGA people are calling her a DEI hire. And I think there's some truth to that because, you know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it made it easier picking a woman.
I think it's more a loyalty to her father, who was made ambassador for whatever the Bushes had, that they wanted to have reciprocals with Michael R. Barrett.
Well, you know, here's the thing. To get nominated for a presidential appointment, whether it's the Supreme Court or a lower court, you got to be connected. That's just the way it is. I mean, look at I just forgot Kavanaugh. If you remember, Kavanaugh was one of the attorneys working with Ken Starr on the Whitewater investigation involving Monica Lewinsky. So all these guys are connected to get the appointments.
Correct. But it goes back all the way to the father when he became ambassador.
Yeah.
So I think
you're on to something.
I think that her loyalty and to Big Oil and everything, I'm sure plays a part in it. Thank you so much for letting me, put a little for your information out there, Brian.
Well, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Yeah, great calls so far today. We're doing very well on the calls. You guys have added a lot to the program, and some very thoughtful people out there. So I want to play this. These astronauts are about to be rescued by the great Elon Musk. And yesterday, these two stranded astronauts that have been on the space station for how long now? They're supposed to be up there a couple days. They gave an interview and let the cat out of the bag. Listen.
Our next question is from Aaron Gregg with The Washington Post.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for doing this. So my question relates to Elon Musk has said that he made the offer to bring you guys back earlier and that it was denied. My first question is that true? And if so, what would that have looked like? Was he offering to make another flight, push seats on another flight? Could you give us some background there?
I can only say that Mr. Musk, what he says is absolutely factual. We have no information on that, though, whatsoever. What was offered, what was not offered, who it was offered to, how that process went. That's information that we simply don't have. So I believe him. I don't know all those details, and I don't think any of us really can give you the answer that you would be hoping for.
Okay, so anyway, what that astronaut has done, one of the stranded astronauts, has confirmed what Elon Musk has said is true, that the Biden administration would not allow him to mount a rescue mission to the space station for these two stranded astronauts. And they didn't want him to do it because he's MAGA, and they didn't want him to look good. Now, he's going to rescue these astronauts. They're picking them up this month, around about 2 weeks from now, less than two, was it the 19th-ish? I can't remember the exact date. And I'm curious to see what kind of press coverage we have of this, because this really is a movie. There's going to be movies made about this, them being stranded on the space station. And Elon Musk is rescuing stranded astronauts on the space station. That's a pretty big deal. But the media hate him so much, the way they cover it, it'll be covered, but they're not going to cover it as some heroic rescue operation as they would if he were a Democrat and we had a Democrat president. They're going to downplay it as much as we can. But, Elon Musk, the left, who claim to be the big advocates for immigrants, hate Elon Musk, who is an immigrant. And the reason they hate him, many reasons. This Doge stuff has just really freaked them out. But he's the wrong kind of immigrant. He's a legal immigrant. He became a naturalized U.S. citizen through the very, very long legal process of doing so. But what they hate about Elon Musk the most, other than he's cutting off their slush funds at USAID and throughout the government, is that he is an immigrant who's become a U.S. citizen legally, but has also become Americanized. And many Americans that are naturalized U.S. citizens like Elon Musk, they become Americanized, and they're on overload of Americanism. He loves this country, everything about it. You hear him talk. He knows more about our government and our history than a lot of Americans do. He's proud of being an American. He loves America. That's the wrong kind of American. All right? And he speaks our language, English, the official language. And they like immigrants that are here illegal, that are peasants, that are going to be dependent upon them and never bother to learn English. And for many, many reasons. They don't like immigrants who become Americanized, like Elon Musk has. They don't like that, the left. And this hatred, they say Trump hates immigrants. Elon Musk and Melania, both immigrants, naturalized, legal immigrants. So to say he hates immigrants, but Elon Musk is about to mount this incredible rescue mission. I'll say one last thing, though. I was watching early this morning that new moon landing that happened this week. Did you see this? The quality of the video, I couldn't believe how poor it was. They're going to have all kinds of excuses about moon dust blowing up in the camera lens. The footage of this moon lander, no one was on it. It was, it's robotic. But this moon landing that we just had, was it yesterday or the day before? You can hardly see it. The quality of film from the 60s and early 70s during Apollo are better than that. I was so disappointed in that. I was hoping for some really good footage of this moon landing. It was awful. And one of the reasons so many people don't believe that we went to the moon is because the film quality is so bad. But my goodness, if you're launching a moon landing, okay, make sure that you have perfect 4K clear video of it. Okay, not something that looks like it was taken back in '69. Okay, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. There's much more to discuss. We'll jump into a whole bunch more after the bottom of the hour break. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back after this.
quality so bad, but my
See, I'm still on the radio. That's how long the delay is.
moon landing, okay? Make sure that you have perfect 4K clear video of it. Okay, not something that looks like it was taken back in '69. Okay, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. There's much more to discuss. We'll jump into a whole bunch more after the bottom of the hour break. Our number is toll free 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back after this.
We'll be back in 1 minute. All right, 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Okay, so let's get into it. The American media are backing Canada over their own country because Trump's pro-American, Canada's against us, so they're on Canada's side. That's the American media. That's it. So yesterday, Caroline Leavitt had a press conference, and let me just play this, and we'll talk about it.
It's just 43 pounds that were found last year. That's less than a carry-on suitcase. Is that a lot of fentanyl compared to, say, Mexico, where the vast majority of the fentanyl is brought in through Mexico, not Canada? So what else does Canada need to do?
Well, I just told you, last year alone, there was a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl. You're asking me for what the president's justification is for these tariffs. It's not up to you. You're not the president, Gabe. And frankly, I think it's a little bit disrespectful to the families in this country who have lost loved ones at the hands of this deadly poison. If you talk to them, and this president has, they are grateful that they finally have a president who is standing up to both Canada and Mexico, and most importantly, to China as well. The president added an additional 10% tariff on China because this deadly poison is being produced in that country. It's being distributed through our neighbors, and there needs to be consequences for that, period.
Okay, so this idiot reporter, why are you giving Canada a hard time? Only 43 pounds of fentanyl has been recovered coming through the northern border. And someone posted this on X about this. They said just 2 milligrams of fentanyl will kill a full-size man. The 43 pounds that have been seized last year from the Canadian border, 43 pounds is enough to kill almost 10 million people. So, you know, and Peter Navarro was on Fox yesterday. Let me play this clip, then we'll talk about it.
Canada could do a lot more. Canada has been taken over, Brett, by Mexican cartels.
Did you hear that? It's the first time I've heard that. That's Peter Navarro says Canada has been taken over by the cartels. Now, the reason that we only seized enough fentanyl to kill 10 million American people through the Canadian border is because, well, Biden had the borders open, and Canada hasn't been doing anything to stop the fentanyl coming in. It's not how much they've caught or seized, it's how much has gotten through. And this thing with the media is insane. You know, my lawn guy was bringing up the import taxes to me yesterday from Canada. You know, and he's very worried about these import taxes. President Trump, and he did put off till April the car tax. This is my question to you guys, okay? President Trump is putting the import tax increases on Canada and Mexico are the ones I'm talking about. I'm not talking about any others, but this is true elsewhere, but we're just talking about Canada and Mexico. The import taxes that President Trump is increasing are reciprocal taxes, meaning he is raising our tax to whatever level Canada's tax is on us, or whatever Mexico's tax is on us. So why is it okay for Canada and Mexico to have these high taxes on us, but we can't have them on them? And the purpose of it, come on, you guys know this. President Trump doesn't want to raise the taxes. He wants them to lower theirs. So for the life of me, I cannot understand why raising our import taxes to what theirs are against us makes Trump some type of international criminal, but it's okay for them to rip us off. Can someone explain that to me? The liberal thinking on that, because it's not making a lot of sense. And maybe they haven't thought it through too clearly. Okay? Now listen to this idiot. This is the Canadians are so far out of their league, okay? This is another one of these premiers. This is the premier of Manitoba. He looks like is he Indian? They don't call them Indians in Canada. They call them First Nation. Oh, well, excuse me. You know, the premier of Manitoba, it's the equivalent of a governor. But I guess they already have a governor, Trudeau. I want you to listen to this, okay? This idiot. This is the premier of Manitoba, and he's signing a document to authorize what he says here. Listen. And he has this huge signing ceremony, this idiot. He's brought in the Canadian press. He's all excited. Listen.
Okay, this order, it's a wonderful order. It's a beautiful order. This order is pulling American booze off the liquor mart shelves.
And his Canadians are clapping like he's an idiot. Okay, they don't call them liquor stores. They call them liquor markets in Canada. See, I told you these Canadians, they're not like us, okay? It's liquor store. He called it liquor market. But I want you to think, did you guys get what this idiot just did? Let me play it again. The premier of Manitoba. This guy, so I don't know who these people surrounding him are. They're idiots too.
Okay, this order, it's a wonderful order. It's a beautiful order. This order is pulling American booze off the liquor mart shelves.
The liquor market shelves. Okay, so he just signed an order as the premier of Manitoba, ordering all liquor stores or anywhere else that sells liquor to pull American liquor off their shelves. It is now illegal to sell American liquor in Manitoba. They've already bought the liquor. It's already been imported, and they've already bought it. So who's he hurting here? He's hurting his own people. By the way, the liquor's still coming into Canada. So the liquor that they've already imported, that these stores have bought, they can't put on their shelves now because the premier of Manitoba signed this order saying they can't. It's illegal to sell American liquor. Does that go for? And no one, and they applaud him. Listen to the applause.
Okay, this order, it's a wonderful order. It's a beautiful order. This order is...
He's trying to talk like Trump, a beautiful order. He's trying to... This guy, he's doing an executive order signing ceremony thinking he's Trump, this idiot.
Okay, this order, it's a wonderful order. It's a beautiful order. This order is pulling American booze off the liquor mart shelves.
Hear the applause? So the retailers of Manitoba, the retailers of Manitoba that have purchased liquor, they can't sell it anymore. How much money are they losing? And if it's a small store, how much can they afford to lose? By the way, can you serve it at the bars in Manitoba? What an idiot. And he's smiling. He's holding up the order like Trump. He called it a beautiful order. He's using Trump's words. And whoever these idiots are behind him are applauding him. I don't know who they are. They're Canadian government people, I guess. Nobody, you know, who they. It shows you how outmatched Canada is when it comes to Donald Trump in the United States. This guy is, that's like dumber than AOC. That's dumber than AOC. I was going to say AOC dumb. That is dumber than AOC. Even AOC wouldn't do something so stupid. It's one thing to stop the importation, but to tell the stores they can't sell what they already bought? What's the penalty if they do it, Premier? Oh my goodness. I've seen some stupid politicians in my life. This is one of the dumbest. Because he did this big signing ceremony for, this has really gone viral. And it's gone viral probably because he's so stupid. So how's Canada going to win a trade war against us? And President Trump said yesterday something that I think is very true. He says Trudeau is using this tariff trade war as a way to try to stay in power, right? He stepped down from his party leadership. In October, they have an election, and it's set in now. He still wants to be the prime minister. He has regret that he stepped down, so he's trying to use this to stay in power. And you know what? I think he's right. Now, I got a great email, or a text message, I should say, from one of our listeners who texted me. Let me pull this up. I don't know how he has my phone number, but he texted me. This is John in Palm Coast. He used to call in as John in Wellington. I think he's more well. He should still go by John from Wellington, even though he's in Palm Coast. But John, formerly of Wellington, who calls from time to time, he texted me this. This is John in Palm Coast. Last week I received the MyPillow towels. I've used them and washed them a few times, and I'm not sure if it's my imagination or not, but they seem to get better and more absorbent with each wash. They are everything, and he capitalized every letter of everything. They are everything you said they were. Thanks for the tip. I texted back. I said, hey, I had the same experience. The more you use and wash the MyPillow towels, the more absorbent they are. I don't know why that is. But, you know, right now, it's free shipping with our promo code Kane site-wide on all orders. The MyPillow towels with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout are just $29.98 right now. The regular price is $69.98. So it's a huge discount, $40 off plus free shipping. They come in 10 different colors. Some of them are brand new colors. And they're the best. And the way I would put it, of course, if I could only have one MyPillow product, it's going to be that pillow. But after the pillow, if I could only have one more MyPillow product, out of and I have almost everything. I even have the neck pillow. Okay, I have everything. But if I could only have one MyPillow product after the MyPillow itself that started everything, it would be those towels. They're out of this world. And I had an experience a couple times. We were phasing out our old towels, and when we got the new MyPillow towels in, and a couple times I've gotten out of the shower and tried to dry off with one of the old towels, And I didn't realize what the old towels were like. All they do is spread the water around your body. They don't absorb it. They don't dry you off. The MyPillow towels, not only do they dry you off, you're as dry as a bone. In fact, that feeling you get when you get out of the shower that you cold because the water evaporates, with the MyPillow towels, I don't have that. I just dry off and boom. I'm not cold, no chills, nothing. And I'm dry as a bone. So they're just $29.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and free shipping. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, we'll take our last break of the second hour. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Back after this. Hey, Barry, it's Brian. Hey there, hold on. Stand by. We'll be back in less than 30 seconds. 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today, Brian?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us this morning?
Well, one of the most common goals, one of the first things that people say when they are doing their estate planning, what they want to accomplish is avoiding probate. And sometimes people know exactly what that means, and sometimes they've heard it somewhere and someone told them that they need to avoid probate. Well, it's a good idea to avoid probate because probate is the process when you die with assets in your name of going to court and hiring attorneys, and it could be very expensive. It could be very time consuming. It could take roughly 9 months to 2 years, and it could end up leaving your children who may be your successor trustee, your children who may be your personal representatives, to have to go through this process, the aggravation of it, the time, the money, and also it's a public process. So for all of those reasons, people want to avoid probate. They could set up a revocable living trust, have their assets in the trust, maintain complete control over the assets while they're alive, have a successor trustee step in case of incapacity without having to go to court for guardianship. So now we're avoiding guardianship as well. And then at death, we can avoid probate, and the assets could go very quickly to your beneficiaries without court intervention, without the high fees, the lawyers, with being a private process, not a public process. So that's why people want to avoid probate, and that's one of the key goals that people want to achieve when they do their estate planning.
Well, let me ask you, because probate lawyers can be expensive, the whole process. What if your heirs don't have the money to pay the lawyers for the probate? What happens?
Well, I mean, either there are times that people just walk away from it.
Really?
But yeah. I mean, imagine if there was sometimes people may have forgotten to put an asset into their trust, and then they have an asset worth, maybe a bank account with a few $1,000s in it, and it would cost more to probate it than it would just let it go.
Yeah.
So those situations come up, but sometimes there are ways to work it out with the attorney where the once the estate is opened, then the assets in the estate can then be used to pay.
Oh my goodness!
But,
So if you leave your house or your condo, as an example, to your kids, they might have to sell that to pay off the lawyer. And oh my goodness!
Yeah, if
Really?
there's no liquid assets in the estate.
Oh my goodness! I bet that's awful. That's awful. Well,
That's why it's important to avoid probate.
That's right. Listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. Now, remember, it's a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the program, and the Siegel Law Group can help you no matter where you're located in the state of Florida. Here's the number, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel will finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, Brian, thank you.
All right, we are back. All right, back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Jessica. How you doing, Brian?
All right, Jessica, what's up?
I wanted to talk to you about Canada and the war that the president is having with our president. I feel that Trump has to be stronger and have a stronger stand against Canada because, let's not forget that this guy, Trudeau, it's a communist, and he's been playing with our money, taxpayers' money, for years. I mean, I don't understand why we subsidize Canada.
You know what? Canada is to the United States what Ukraine is. We're a Patreon of Canada like we are with Ukraine.
Yes, and Brian,
They're patrons of ours.
I've known some Canadians where they have told me that they have a socialist mentality. So I feel that all those conservatives saying, "Oh, Canada should become, another state of the United States," that's not going to work. I mean, it's not to our advantage to have Canada become another state. It will be just like California, or probably worse.
Oh yeah,
so
no.
It's not.
I don't believe.
Listen,
listen. I don't believe President Trump wants to make Canada a state because they would. It would be more than one state if that were to happen. It's too big, and for each state you get 2 senators. Okay, and they get members of the House, and the House of Representatives, no matter what, only has 435 members. So if we got another state, or this is why Puerto Rico's a territory, Guam's a territory, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and there's others. Okay, we don't make them states because we don't want them to get congressional representation. It would mess up everything. So the reason he does that is to illustrate how much they're ripping us off.
No, I know that, but I also hear other conservatives taking into consideration Canada as becoming a state. I'm like, no, don't ever say things like that. It's not going to benefit us at all. Even Puerto Rico could be a dangerous to become a state for us. Even Puerto Rico.
Well, the same thing with D.C. The reason the Democrats have been pushing for D.C. statehood forever because they'd get 2 senators, right? And that would mess up the Senate. All right. Yes. All right. I appreciate the call. So, yeah, that's the way it is. Okay. Now, I wanted to share something. This is President Trump's issued what he's calling his last warning to the Hamas terrorists, demanding the release of all hostages. And he's saying that he's giving Israel everything that they want. Someone said to me, they asked me this question in our chat room earlier this morning, and they asked me this question: how much money are you getting from AIPAC? That's the American-Israeli lobby. And of course, my answer to them was 0. Although I wouldn't mind promoting AIPAC because I support Israel. Steve supports Israel. We're strong supporters of Israel. And sadly, anti-Semitism is on the rise in this country like I've never seen. I have seen anti-Semitism was almost wiped out in America. And it's come back. And not just because of Candace Owens, who's a Holocaust-denying anti-Semite. For some reason, millennials are very, very anti-Israel. And I think it's for a number of reasons. Millennials who are, J.D. Vance is a millennial, so he's pro-Israel. But millennials are much older than you think, okay? They're grown-ups now. Vice President's a millennial. And millennials, a high percentage of them have been college educated. And you go to college, right out of high school, you learn to be, anti-Semitic. You learn to hate Jews. And this war in Ukraine, this proxy war has been going on for a long time. And a lot of people in this country that are conservatives, there are people that are conservatives, even MAGA, who are anti-Israel, who are anti-Semitic. And they wrongly equate the situation with our support of Ukraine with our support of Israel. There's no equivalent. And so far as the giving of things to Ukraine, Israel buys all the weapons from us. We do not give Israel anything. It's not a charity, okay? They buy the weapons from us, which is different than giving them. But there's many other reasons that I'm not going to get into now of why Israel exists and why we support it and all that stuff. I've talked about it a lot, and you guys know. I don't need to go through all that, and I don't have time right now before the top of the hour anyway to do that. But this person that asked me how much money are you getting from AIPAC, I said, oh, yeah, anti-Semitic. He says, nothing I said was anti-Semitic. Well, the very question was anti-Semitic, just to, you're paid by the Jews to support Israel. And I was explaining to them something that's a very difficult concept for people to understand. People that are racist, people that are anti-Semitic, do not think of themselves as a racist or an anti-Semite. They just think that they see things properly, that they just have a proper perspective on things. And I know that's hard to understand, but that's true. They don't view themselves as racist or anti-Semites. They just think they see the world clearly, and we don't. But I'm going to tell you, among conservatives, and this may not make sense to a lot of people, but it makes sense to me. Do you know what one of the leading causes of anti-Semitism in this country is today? You know what it is? It's a person. Who do you think it might be that I'm thinking of? I'm not gonna troll for calls on this. I'm gonna tell you, and it's Ben Shapiro. I don't like Ben Shapiro. Okay, I mean I don't know Ben Shapiro. When I say I don't like him, I don't enjoy his content, his way of speaking. But that's okay. A lot of people don't like me. It's okay. When you are a public person and you're doing something like I do or Ben Shapiro, there are going to be people that like you. There are going to be people that hate you. That's just part of it. But I do agree with Ben Shapiro 100% on his positions on Israel. I'm a strong supporter of Israel, and I will be till the day I die. Okay, that's just the way it is. And Republicans were always pro-Israel, but there's a lot of conservatives, even MAGA conservatives out there, that are not supportive of Israel. And I think, a lot of people don't like Ben Shapiro. He's a never-Trumper, and a lot of people don't like his style. They find him not a pleasant person for whatever reason, and that translates into them not agreeing with him on anything, including his support of Israel. So I don't, Ben Shapiro probably, I know that sounds crazy when I put it that way, but sometimes people don't like things because of who's presenting them. As an example, the president's speech in Congress, he's praising a little boy with brain cancer, and the Democrats are angry, right? Because Trump is the messenger of that. And many other things. That's just one. So a lot of that goes true. People translate their dislike of Ben Shapiro and disagreeing with him because they don't like him to Israel. And they shouldn't do that. He is, as much as I don't like him or his content, and he's a never-Trumper, I support everything he does for Israel and everything he says about Israel. And this anti-Semitism is getting out of control in this country. Among conservatives. Conservatives need to support Israel and support Israel strongly. I want to tell you guys about this incredible offer, the free doorbell camera offer from Slomin's. With the installation of your Slomin Shield, you can get a free doorbell camera from Slomin's that connects directly to your cell phone. You've heard me talk about it. It's amazing. You get a notification on your cell phone every time there's movement at your door, no matter where you are in your house, in the world. And like I say, when we're on our cruises, I get notifications every time there's someone pulling up to my house on my phone, and I always check to see who it is. Slomin's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for the doors and windows, lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call no matter where you're located. Take advantage of this. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. Very easy to remember that number. 1-800-ALARM-ME. All right? 2 hours down already. Holy smokes, 1 hour to go. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be back with your calls and much more after this. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just over a minute. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you are listening. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, we'll be back in about 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. We've covered a lot. You're welcome to call in about anything I brought up since 6. I'm going to recap a couple things this hour, but also bring up some things that are new. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, hi, Brian. My name is Sherry Smith. I'm from Michigan.
Hey, Sherry.
Hi, and I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, Brian, your wife and your family, you guys are doing an awesome job. I'm the one in the morning that says good morning to all the Mega family and to everybody out there. Everybody, just stay encouraged. And I'm a Christian, and I love Jesus. I love God. And what you said was 100% about Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a blessing when we give and when we take our time out to support. God came from Israel.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful country. And I'm 100% with you, Brian.
Yeah.
And I know you take a lot of backlash from others, but just stay encouraged.
And I got to tell you,
Enjoy your
this is a new thing. And I'm not talking about the liberal anti-Semitism. Even Jewish liberals hate Israel. Okay, but the Republican the Republican Party historically has stood strong with Israel. There's been an isolated person here and there, but for the most part have stood very firm on their support of Israel. And this conservative anti-Semitism and anti-Israel position, this is new, and it's really been made popular by Candace Owens. But there are other conservatives that aren't such strong supporters of Israel, and they just don't understand the issue. They just don't.
Well, I'm all in for Israel.
I am too.
And I just
I appreciate. Well, thank you for the call. I do appreciate that, and that's just the way it is. All right, our number 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, sorry about. Oh yeah, there we go. It's going to be one of those days. Stand by. You got to stand by with that button, Mike. Oh my goodness. Well, things are going well. President Trump. This just broke in the last few minutes. This is amazing. This is amazing from the Trump White House. Listen to this. The Trump administration is planning on revoking the legal status of Ukrainian refugees who fled to the United States, and there's 240,000 of them. So what this would mean is the refugee status would be revoked, and they would no longer be welcome. They'd have to go back to Ukraine. And 240,000 of them. And they need the people. They're so short on people. They've lost so many. The Zelensky yesterday, and if you're following this, the way Zelensky is handling things is insane. First, early in the day, it comes out that Zelensky is going to sign the mineral deal. And I was like, okay, great. Why doesn't he just sign it and have it sent to Trump? And then by the late afternoon, he's not signing it again. This is, I'm going to tell you. Now, this is just looking at the way that Zelensky has been handling things in the last couple of days. And this is not the first time this has happened. Did you guys see this yesterday? Early in the day, he was going to sign the mineral deal. And then by the afternoon, no, he's not. Has he been deposed? Is he just a figurehead right now, Zelensky? Some will say he always was a figurehead. But is he a figurehead hardcore now? A full figurehead? Because it doesn't look like he's in charge of anything at this point. You're not seeing... You know what he's kind of reminded me of right now? Gorbachev. When the Soviet Union fell. If you remember, it's been a long time, but oh boy, it was crazy. He was on vacation on the Black Sea, some big commie leadership party resort along the Black Sea, and that's when Boris Yeltsin and all of them made their move in Moscow. He got out, he escaped, got to the airport, and the army stopped and brought him back. And then Gorbachev ended up in Moscow, and it was clear that he had been deposed, even though he still had the office, and that he was out, Gorbachev, and Boris Yeltsin was in charge. And I remember he had a joint press conference with Yeltsin, and Gorbachev's still the boss, and he said something, and Yeltsin corrected him. on television live in front of the world. And that wasn't an accident. He did that in person. But when Gorbachev returned to Moscow, everybody at the time that had half a brain cell, and I was young at the time, but it was so obvious even for me that he was no longer in power. He had been deposed. It just wasn't official yet to the world. And I've had a sense since the White House meeting with Trump, JD, and Marco and Zelensky that he's not in charge anymore. Now, I understand he had these Ukrainian billionaires behind him all along. I get that. But no, this is different. He is 100% no longer in the control of anything. He has less than zero authority right now. It seems to me there's too much flip-flopping over this mineral deal. He's either going to sign it or not. And since the White House meeting, this has happened 2 days. 2 days where he was going to sign it, then he wasn't. Then he was going to sign it, then he wasn't. And it flips in the same day. So whoever the handlers are, there's no way he's running Ukraine right now with these flip-floppers. He's changing his mind too much. So who's running the country is maybe no one. Maybe there's a coalition of people that are struggling behind the scenes for power. But I was watching, I can't remember if this was CNN or MSNBC Monday, and they had someone on and they were talking about, are they going to get a new president? And this Democrat said, I'm surprised that they didn't remove him on Saturday, which is not hard for them to do since his term is up. So I'm thinking he really has been removed from power. He has the title, but it's just for show. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? And I'd certainly like to hear them at 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And, President Trump revoking the refugee status of over 240,000 Ukrainians in this country is going to cause a big uproar, no doubt about it. And they're not going to want to go back. They're probably set up here. They probably got all set up with Biden where they have everything taken care of. But this refugee my guess is President Trump isn't planning on deporting all of them. It's probably a very difficult thing to do, and it's not pleasant. It's probably a tactic to put pressure on Ukraine to end this war, to sign a deal with Putin, give Trump the mineral contract. It's all about pressure, negotiation. If Ukraine does the right thing, and the right thing is give us the mineral deal and end the war, have a meeting with the Russians to come up with a peace plan and a peace treaty and sign it, then they get to stay. It's just another little poker chip that President Trump has added to the pot. And it's pretty smart because I didn't realize we had 240,000 Ukrainian refugees in the United States. I don't think many people did at all, honestly. But this war's got to end. It's enough. It's costing us too much money. And what President Trump said last week to Zelensky has been lost in this whole debate. He put his hand on Zelensky's shoulder and he says, You are playing with World War III. You are risking World War III. He said it more than once to him. And that's true. You see how these European countries are reacting, and they're talking. France is now talking about using forces and assets and weapons that they shouldn't be using to fight against Russia. To start a war with Russia is to start the Third World War. It's a mess. And Russia does have alliances with Iran and North Korea and other countries that we're not all that friendly with. And this is a big mess. All right, we're going to take our first break of the third hour. It is the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. We'll be back in 1 minute, guys. We're back in 1 minute. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Let's take some more calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, here we go. Yes, that's us. On delay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. It's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. I'll try another line. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I hear you breathing. All right. Once, twice. You missed your...
Hello?
Oh. I was just hanging up on you.
I'm not sure that this is Doris.
Doris, the tent lady. Oh, my goodness. Doris.
Yes, there seems to be a disconnect somehow or other.
Well, we got you now.
It's probably my hearing. And, as you know, I'm 95.
Oh, my goodness.
And my hearing's been going, and my sight's been going. The only thing that isn't failing is my love for your show, and, of course, my love for God.
Well, thank you.
Brian, let me tell you something. You and Steve have kept me sane. I think a lot of people are sane because of you. When you get so frightened over some of the things that you hear on the nightly news, but we wake up and we hear Brian. So, hallelujah.
Well, it's good to hear from you, Doris.
Oh, no, wait a second. This is what's important. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, you were talking, and all of a sudden you started to say that we're having problems with the North, up in Canada.
Yep.
And then you said that Canada, it's been revealed, is the one who is a big leader in pornography.
That's right.
And Brian, pornography is a ruination of many poor young boy and a poor young married man and married women. It's a ruination of families. And Brian, I think when you said that Trump could use this somehow or other, I thought my heart leaped up, and it was as if God said, he's nailed it.
Yeah.
And Brian, you have got to give us the address, all your people, the address where we can write a letter saying, please ask President Trump. We don't want to.
Everybody know. Send a letter to the White House, Doris. That's all.
The White House will do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where he lives. I
People-
appreciate the call there. Doris, 95 years old. She's been with us a long time. But you know, when I was talking about that the other day, just to if you missed the show the other day when we were talking about this, just to fill you in on what Doris was referencing, the most viewed porn website in the world is Pornhub, and it's based in Canada. And it's the 12th most. And I read it. I looked this up when we were talking. It just popped in my mind because there was an investigative reporter who did an investigation on Pornhub, and I saw her interviewed by Michael Knowles, and I remember her talking about having to go to Canada to do it. She went undercover in Canada, and they are the 12th most visited website in the world. More people visit Pornhub than visit Amazon. And it's got to be one of the 20 biggest companies, money-wise, in all of Canada. I would not be surprised. And if Trump cut off and there's probably some smaller companies up there too, but if Trump were to cut off the pornography coming in from Canada online, that would be a big financial blow to Canada, I promise you. But it's always good to hear from Doris, 95. Oh my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Gerardo Salcido, calling from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
I'll stick with Oklahoma. That's easier. What's up, Oklahoma?
Well, just calling in, and I'm hearing you talk about Russia and how we're about to kick out so many Ukrainians, I guess, have
240,000, yes.
240,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my understanding is, you know, Russia is the aggressor. Russia invaded Ukraine, not only once, but twice. The first time being in 2014, the second time being, what was it, in 2022?
Yeah.
2020? And so, I mean, what's with this movement of
that's not our problem. Has Russia invaded America? Do you have Russians in Oklahoma?
Yes.
Where?
Yes, they have.
Where?
They have.
Where?
With Russian disinformation back in 2016.
No. We do that to them. I'm talking about a physical military attack on America.
Do you think the Russians has been our allies since the Cold War then? I mean, they've been our best friends.
The Cold War was fake. Military industrial complex propaganda.
That was fake?
Yeah.
So we went to World War II for no reason?
No, World War II is not the Cold War. That's different.
No shit. But
okay. All right, Mike. The first time today. Oh, my goodness. First time today, had to use the dump button, Mike. Oh, my goodness. Oh, if you're on hold, hang in there. And I'm going to take this opportunity. While we're waiting for the delay to build back up, I'm going to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I weighed myself this morning, and I am the lightest I have been in about 15 years. Isn't that amazing? The lightest I've been in 15 years. It feels great, too. It really does. And I've been telling you guys, I'm not taking any medication. I'm not taking Ozempic. People ask me that constantly. I'm not taking any drugs. I'm not doing any exercises. None. Just doing my normal life. And Coastal Weight Loss Secret, it works. I didn't think it'd be possible. I'm not starving myself. I'm not eating weirdo foods that I don't like. No exercise, no working out, nothing. And I'm in shock because I hit my weight loss goal a couple days ago, almost a month before my date, which was the 29th of this month. I wanted to lose 25 pounds before the cruise, and now I've lost more than that. I'm not telling you guys my weight before or after because I'm gonna keep a little bit of it private. But this is the lightest I've weighed in 15 years, maybe even longer. It's amazing. I haven't weighed myself in a long time. And I weighed myself at Game Day Men's Health. They weighed me, when I went over there, and I was shocked at what I weighed, and I was really a little embarrassed, to tell you the truth. I had not realized how much weight I had gained. But hey, it's all gone now, and I don't know. Maybe I'll keep doing this because I like it. It was so easy. This is the lightest I've weighed in 15, maybe even 20 years, but at least 15 years. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. I'm going to give you the number. When you call Coastal Weight Loss Secret, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. You're going to love Dr. Zuckerman. He and his staff are great. 561-247-6300. The shirt I'm wearing this Def Leppard t-shirt. The last time I wore this shirt, it was so tight, I almost threw it away. I kept it. I love Def Leppard, so I almost threw it away. I kept it. And the last time I was wearing it, it was so tight. It was like some of my other shirts felt almost like a girdle, but now it's fitting like it's supposed to. It's amazing. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, the delay is re-engaged. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Vinny from Alabama.
Hey, Vinny.
Hey, I just want to put my 2 cents in here. This is what happens when, Joe Biden and his administration is sneaking around doing covert things, and they put us in a bind now, which Trump is having to fix. And guess what? Most people that do the bad stuff, they're just sitting on the sidelines watching it. This is not a Trump situation here. This is something that Biden's been doing.
Well, which situation are you talking about? Which situation are you referencing?
Giving Ukraine all these funds for what, 4 to 8 years, or however we've been giving it to them, and now it backfires in our face.
You know what blows my mind is, like this guy I was just talking to from Oklahoma. If you gave him an unmarked map of Europe, he probably wouldn't even be able to find Ukraine. But he wants to go to war for Ukraine. Isn't that crazy?
Exactly, and I understand. I'm a humanitarian in some parts, and I don't mind lending a helping hand. But what Joe Biden was doing, he was using the Ukraine by giving them funds because he didn't like Russia, or he didn't have the manpower to sit down with Putin and talk to him like a man, like Trump is doing now. You don't have to get out here and be G.I. Joe with the person. Just, delegate the right way. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. And
well, no, you added more than 2 cents. I mean, what you have with, you want to talk about sense, what you have with Trump is common sense. And President Trump came up with, by the way, thanks for the call. President Trump came up with the perfect peace deal for Ukraine and Russia. I told you about this. He wants the mineral contract for 2 reasons. I'll give you the Reader's Digest version, then we'll break for the bottom. If you're on hold, hang in there. President Trump wants the mineral deal for 2 reasons. 1, to pay us back for all the money we've given Ukraine. 2, most of these mines are in eastern Ukraine, which is on the Russian side. Americans will move there to work with their families, with their kids, and we'll have a DMZ civilian buffer of Americans. And Russia's never going to come in and kill Americans, okay, or risk doing so. And it was a perfect solution, and there's some other details, but it was a perfect solution to the end of this war, and Zelensky wouldn't do it. He wouldn't have it. And now you see how he's operating. I stick by that he's been deposed. That and what I mean by that is the billionaire Ukrainian handlers behind him have just tightened their grip a little bit and have taken more of the day-to-day control away from him because they're desperate to keep this war going because they're getting rich off of it. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be right back.
the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888.
All right, coming back in 20 seconds. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, so President Trump told Hamas, hand over the hostages or else. Hamas has responded. Hamas has dismissed, these people. See what Zelensky is doing? See what Canada, Trudeau is doing? See what Europe is doing? What they're doing is they are emboldening the terrorist to oppose Trump. So Trump's going to have to make a big move here. The Hamas terror group today dismissed President Donald Trump's, this is in Fox News, latest threat and refused to release more Israeli hostages without a permanent ceasefire deal in the Gaza Strip. The Hamas spokesperson said the best path to free the remaining Israeli hostages is through negotiations on a second phase of the ceasefire agreement. The first phase and ceasefire, which lasted 42 days, ended Saturday. A second phase was supposed to begin early February, though only limited talks have been held so far. Hamas's response comes after Trump met with 8 former hostages in Washington and posted what he called a last warning to Hamas on Truth Social yesterday. This is what President Trump posted to Truth Social yesterday. Shalom Hamas means hello and goodbye. You can choose, the president's post on Truth Social began. Release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all of the dead bodies of the people you murdered, or it is over for you. Every letter capitalized and over. Trump added he's sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job, and that not a single Hamas member will be safe if you do not do as I say. Also, this is President Trump's Truth Social post. Also to the people of Gaza, a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead. Capitalized every letter of dead. Make a smart decision. And the rest of this is all caps. Release the hostages now, or there will be hell to pay later. Hamas is believed to still have 24 living hostages taken from October 7th, those poor people. They're also holding the bodies of 34 others who were either killed in the initial attack or in captivity, as well as the remains of a soldier from 2014. So what's happened here is Zelensky, Trudeau, England, France, NATO as a whole, Democrats, and the fake news media in America, who have been the Democrats the other night, they've emboldened Hamas. They're making Hamas think that there is a movement to oppose Trump. So they're trying to stand up to Trump. So I promise you, since that came out, he picked up the phone to Hegseth and told them, the defense secretary, I know, isn't that awesome? And told them to start getting ready for whatever their plans are. I mean, this is, don't you see what's going on here? You know, the fake news media and the Democrats want to create this narrative, which is incredibly false, that President Trump is not popular. He just won a national election, won all the battleground states, flipped a bunch of counties in California, a dozen almost. His approval ratings this week have been through the roof on everything he's doing, in particular at the southern border, and even with the tariffs. And they're creating this narrative that he's not popular. And what that is going to do, you can see it with this. Those who are creating this false narrative are going to get people killed. There are already people who have died in Ukraine. Anyone who has died in Ukraine since Friday is dead on either side because the Democrats got Zelensky all worked up before he went in with President Trump and he wouldn't sign the deal. If Zelensky would have signed the deal, there would be a ceasefire right now in Ukraine with Russia, and major peace negotiations would be in place right now. They may have even had a peace deal already. So people are getting killed in Ukraine. People are about to be killed in Palestinian areas, in Gaza and maybe elsewhere, because of this Trump derangement syndrome. Because Trump is now in a position where he has to do what he's got to do to get through to these terrorists. They have not released them because of all of you on the left opposing him. And that is a reality. And it's really sad. President Trump had this whole thing wrapped up. Now he's going to have to go up there. He's going to and look butch and kill people with the military strike to let them know that he means business, that he's not weak. It's really sad. Now, there's a rhino. You may not think this is a person to worry about, but I'm here to tell you, while Trump is incredibly popular among conservatives, there's a lot of fake Trump supporters out there, a lot of fake MAGA. And there's a longtime rhino who's angling for something. And I'm talking about Megyn McCain. Megyn McCain is trying to be embraced by MAGA world. After President Trump's address to Congress the other night, she posted this online. She loved the speech, of course. This is Megyn McCain. This is the first time I can remember crying during a State of the Union. Thank you, President Trump. This is so beautiful. Anyone who has been impacted by brain cancer knows how special this is. Okay, now, of course, her dad, John McCain, had some issues with that. But Megyn McCain has been praising President Trump quite a bit. And I'm here to tell you that listen, this is not a perfect rule, but it's a good rule of thumb. There are exceptions, but not many. Never trust a never Trumper. Never trust a never Trumper. And Megyn McCain is trying to angle her way to get elected to the Senate or the House or become governor. She is not that old. Her weirdo husband, that Diminish guy, whatever his name is, he's on Fox constantly, the biggest bore there is. He's praising Trump. So Megyn, and this is new, Megyn McCain and her, Ben Diminish, is that his name? Megyn McCain and her husband are both praising Trump. These are the biggest Trump haters, and I don't blame Megyn McCain. You know, she loved her dad, even though she was a child of sin, because he was the John McCain's wife that he had his first children with, multiple children. She stood by her husband when he was held prisoner in Vietnam. He came back and had an affair with Cindy, and it just so happened she's loaded, and he left his family for her, and then Megyn McCain's the product of that. But Megyn McCain hates Trump like the plague, okay, because her dad did, and he insulted her father. And the way that John McCain reacted to what President Trump said about him was he was protesting a little too much about that. It's something that hit home. So I do not trust Megyn McCain. She is trying to work her way in, and this is bad, bad news. She's got a show online. She's praising Trump. She's praising him here. There's no way. See, the Republican establishment rhinos, the rhinos aren't extinct. They're just dormant right now. Okay? They're in the background, they're regrouping, and they're trying to find ways to get back in. And this is one of them. So don't trust Megyn McCain. And you know, I see a lot of people kind of praising her a little bit. Oh, she's finally woken up. And I knew something was up when I saw her weirdo husband on Fox the other day saying positive things about Trump. That just stunk. All right, we're going to take our break for the Gold Report. We'll come back with your calls, and there's a few other things we got to discuss too. I haven't gotten to everything, and I do want to recap a little bit about Coney Barrett, which I talked about at 6, but we're almost at the end of the show, and I want to recap a little bit of that if I have time. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name's Brian Craig. We'll be right back. Hey there, hold on. We'll be back shortly, guys. We got the Gold Report. Hold on. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with our Thursday Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metal's looking good. A little bit of a pullback today as we continue to test that $2,900 support level. Yesterday we saw gold trade in a range of $2,891 all the way up to $2,930. Closing out the day at $2,918.70 the ounce, which was up $2. Silver was up 67 cents yesterday at $32.60 the ounce. Silver's starting to look very good. There's concerns over silver price being pushed higher because of the tariffs on Mexico. Mexico is the major producer of silver in the world, and if those tariffs apply to the silver imports, we could see silver moving even much higher. Platinum up $6 yesterday, closing out today at $9.66, and palladium down $3 at $9.29. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a low of $28.89 and a high of $29.27. $2,902 the ounce. That's down about $16. Silver down 20 cents at $32.40. Platinum down up $1 at $9.67, and palladium up $1 at $930. So the markets are sort of holding these areas and giving us small pullbacks, giving us a little opportunity once in a while to take advantage of a dip. But overall, the markets seem very firm and still poised to go higher.
Absolutely. So you're saying that there's a lot of our silver that's used in all the different mints comes from Mexico, and that could affect the price?
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Yeah. What about now that means not just you're not talking about gold coin or silver coins from Mexico. You mean all the silver coins from all the different countries like the United States and
Exactly. Silver is Mexico is a major producer of silver. Now there's ways they can skirt around all this these tariffs, so we'll see whether it really has an impact. But nevertheless, silver has been pushing higher.
Yeah, absolutely.
And through that $32 number, which was resistance. So.
All right, you hear that, guys? Okay, so it's a good time for silver. And, of course, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. That's on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway in Boca. And you can give him a call, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman will finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.
All right, we are back. And if you're on hold, hang in there on number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You talking to me?
It sounds like you.
Yes, hello. My name's Tony. I'm calling from Montana.
Tony from Montana. Speak up. What's on your mind, Tony?
Oh, well, I'm a little concerned about that Supreme Court decision yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I think what's going on is, the left was real concerned about Trump getting into office and what he may do to them. For what they've done to him and us over the last 4 years.
Well, when you say you're concerned, you're talking about the Amy Coney Barrett who's siding with Roberts, who we already know is compromised. What's your concern with the decision?
Well, it just goes to show that, in my opinion, it's just a sign that shows the left is losing their fear of Trump's. I don't want to say revenge because it's not revenge to seek justice. We as Americans and him need justice for all the wrongs that have been done. I think we've been thrown a bone with the release of the January 6th prisoners and things like that, but we're still not seeing justice. I know he hasn't been in office very long, and it took a while to get some of his appointees through. But I think the left feared that when Trump came in, he was going to seek justice for all their crimes, and he's not doing it.
Well, I would tell you that Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, and Pam Bondi are on the case, but it takes time for them to get indictments, and they're going to do it. They're going to.
Well, that's a typical response. That's a typical response.
No, it's not. You got to go through a legal. What do you want to do? Round everybody up and without the proper legal?
Yes.
Well, that's crazy.
No, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
Now think about this. I want to simplify this so you'll understand what
most crazy people don't know that they're crazy. You know.
Please give me a break. Listen, okay, you've seen the movie The Gladiator. In the movie The Gladiator, at the end, he knew the only way to straighten out Rome was to bring in the military, his military.
You want the military to take over?
Please listen to me.
No, slow down. You want the military to take over?
No, I want Trump to take over, and if he has to use the military to do it, do it.
Are you out of your mind?
That Democrat Party that sat over there with all those smug faces.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Calm down. So, excuse me. Hold on. Slow down. I want to play this out because what you're saying is insane. So
you're not listening to me.
I'm trying. I am. No, excuse me. I want to get some more details here. So you want President Trump?
I'm going to give them to you. Shut up and let me.
You tell me to shut up, you're gone. I know you're emotional.
Shut up and let me.
All right, you're gone. I'm not going to be told to shut up, okay? I'm sorry. I'm very tolerant. I don't mind people giving me a hard time, but you're not going to tell me to shut up. Oh, my goodness. That's insane, all right? That is crazy talk. And what I wanted to ask him was, what does that mean? Sending tanks into places? Sending the soldiers into places? That's not... You know, the Supreme Court decision, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I spent the first hour of the show talking about this. The problem with the Supreme Court decision, and it's relevant to what he says, and I'll explain. The relevance of the Supreme Court decision yesterday that has me upset is not this particular decision about this foreign aid. It's one thing. There's a million other things, maybe more than a million other things. But everything in the United States, everything that is done through legal precedents that are set by our courts. So what happened with the Supreme Court yesterday, they ruled in favor of a lower court's decision saying that the President of the United States does not have the authority to stop one of these funding things that's come out through USAID. So what they're going to do with that, the left, is they're going to judge shop to other Obama, Clinton, and Biden federal judges, and they're going to cite case law as this Supreme Court ruling yesterday that the president doesn't have the authority to shut down funding. That's my concern. If you were to use the military and not go through a legal process, but start arresting people and having military tribunals of people you don't like, okay, that would set a precedent too. And, you know, the people that got picked up this time, you might be very supportive of because we're in charge. But when they're back in charge, who's going to be next? No, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are handling this through the proper legal means, interviewing witnesses, collecting evidence, going to grand juries, and securing indictments. You don't think they're investigating Mershon's daughter and all that money she raised from Democrat donors on the promise of putting Trump in prison and all of that? She was taking donors into the courtroom of her dad. He had seats reserved for her to bring clients in. If you did what that lunatic, and I would like to have had a conversation, but I got to have some standards here. And one of the standards is you're not going to tell me to I gave him a warning, and he did it right again. So I'm sorry, I can't tolerate that. If you do something that insane, that, you know, military tribunals, bringing in the military, what you end up with is when they're in power again, they'll do it to us. And they'll say, well, Trump did it, now you're against it? That's crazy talk. You don't want it. This is America. Okay? This is not one of these third world places where I don't know where this stuff comes from. You know, people reading too many novels, or are there anti-Trump people that have infiltrated the conservative movement somewhere or the MAGA movement somewhere that brainwash guys like that last caller with that kind of stupidity? No, These are the very bad news. I'm sorry. And next time you call, I don't mind being out of control. I don't mind yelling or any of that. But we got a couple of rules, and I think they're reasonable. 1 call per day, no profanity, and you can't tell us to shut up. I gave him the warning. Now, tomorrow is open phones, guys. So any and everything on your mind is fair game on tomorrow's show. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. The show prep is up to you guys on Friday. I can't believe Friday will be here already tomorrow, and that's always a fun show. But I hope that guy calls back and is more reasonable. But no, don't let anyone talk like that move you to thinking we should be doing something like that. That's the worst thing that could happen. All right, you're on the air.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, okay, I put you back. No, I put you back. I put you back on. I knew it was you. You can't tell. You got to calm down. Don't tell me to shut up.
Okay, well, will you listen to my point so you'll understand what I'm trying to say?
We'll have a conversation.
You just said on the air that if we go after, it's not about going after people you don't like. It's about going after criminals. The whole Democrat Party is a criminal organization, and they should be treated as such. And the reason the Supreme Court made the decision they made is because Trump's not getting serious with it, and they don't fear him
you do
anymore.
not. If what
They
I
don't
said
fear
was
him.
this, if you used what you're talking about with the military, what does this mean? You want to send soldiers
What it means is
to
you're
arrest
serious
members
about
of Congress?
straightening the country out.
You want to arrest?
You're serious about straightening the country out.
I don't want it
That's what
straightened
means.
out like
It means you're
that.
serious
That's
about
not straightening it
the
out.
country and getting rid of the swamp.
That's not
You're
straightening it
not
out.
going to get rid of the swamp unless you get serious.
That's
And
all
you're
right.
just
I
leading
appreciate the call. And that's very insane. It's very insane talking like that. Now, I shared this earlier in the show. This is amazing. John from Palm Coast. He used to be John from Wellington, okay? He changed his name because he moved. But you guys remember John from Wellington. He sent me this text yesterday. He said, last week, I received the MyPillow towels. I've used them and washed them a few times, and I'm not sure if it's my imagination or not, but they seem to get better and more absorbent with each wash. They are everything you said they were. Thanks for the tip. And I told him I had a similar experience with the MyPillow towels. The MyPillow towels, which right now are just $29.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and free shipping, by the way. $40 off. They're normally $69.98. They do get better after you use and wash them. I don't know why that is, but they do. These are the best towels you've ever had, the best towels I've ever used. You'll never use another towel again. And what you'll do if you get one set, you'll end up buying a second set, and you're going to throw away all your old towels, or they'll turn into rags, if they're even good enough for that. You don't realize how bad the towels, those traditional towels that you're using are, until you use a MyPillow towel. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Yeah, they're only $29.98, $40 off, and free shipping, because it's free shipping site-wide with our promo code Kane at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, that's all the time we have for today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. And as I said, tomorrow is Open MAGA Mike Friday, and that means open phones. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. The show prep is up to you guys. Although I'm going to have some things to talk about, and Steve will too. And we'll try to get them in. But you don't have to talk about anything we bring up tomorrow. The show prep's up to you guys. And, hey, sometimes that's the best show of the week. Sometimes it's, not so good. But that last caller, that's the last thing you want. I trust Kash Patel, and I don't know a single MAGA person who does not trust Kash Patel. We've heard him for the last few years talk about what has to be done, and I have no doubt in my mind Kash Patel is on the case right now as we speak, and is every day of the week, including the weekends. All right, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. All right, we are out. Okay, if you're new, make sure that you subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, please like the video and share if you don't mind, all right? My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for tuning in.